Everybody wants to just take a nice deep breath, ground down into Mother Earth. Mm. Hello.
Hello. Hello.
Hello, hello. It is that we are delighted to be here from the angelic realm to talk to all of you. For as always, we absolutely, completely love and adore who it is that you are. And it is our understanding that you are wanting to tune into the energy and the vibration of the magnificent and beautiful full moon. And we are wanting to remind you that this year, in many regards, has been quite what you might call transformational or epic, in that a lot of energy has been descending onto the planet. And from an astrological point of view, it is reaching many climaxes of energies that have not been seen or felt on the earth for a very, 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 very long time. And it is that it is of great no surprise that you are moving very quickly through a transition and you are all feeling it and you are feeling the squeeze in a sense of the energy as it is sometimes feeling destabilized, as the energy might feel a bit shaky as things are moving very rapidly and very quickly. And it is that this year, although maybe have been perceived or labeled as a way and a sense of negative, we do not want to ever talk about negative or positive in that respect, for there is no hierarchy in the realm in which we dwell. But we want to speak of it as not something negative, but transformative, for you are going through a momentous and a great change. And as this change is occurring, we want to remind you that the year is not over. And it is that the next 3 weeks is almost like a crescendo. It is a final push of energy in this particular year that will continue to accelerate vibrationally, and the intensity shall remain until December 21st. And it is that right now you are in this full moon vibration as this energy pours down upon all of you, and it may be thought of or understood in the language in which you speak as a lunar eclipse. And it is an energy in which many doors are closing, and it is the finality or the finishing or the letting go of old energy. Some of them might be difficult to let go of, but needed to fall away as you are moving into new possibilities, new energies, and new opportunities that will really begin to open up around the solstice time of December 21st, when a portal shall be very much widened on the planet, allowing even more light to move through and to descend onto Earth, and to begin to open up even more the cells within your being, and to support you in the full and absolute awakening to the remembering of your own divinity. And you might say, well, we can't take any more of that, for there has been quite a bit of an upset. And what what we want you to know is that don't want you to think of it as an upset as much as it is a collapsing and a dissolving and a releasing and a letting go of form and of structure that is crumbling or might be thought of as collapsing, that has been held in place from domination and control, or from the left brain hemisphere way of linear thinking in time and space, that has served you quite well for a very long period of time in your history here on earth, that is moving away into a new energy that is much more aligned with unity and connection, with more of a feminine vibration. Some of you might call it the divine feminine energy, as it ushers into the planet. And it is much more merging with the energy of from coming up from underneath rather than from above down. For the energy up into this point has been very much based on a hierarchy system, on a system of judgment, on control, on greater than and less than, on effort, on working very hard in order to attain. And then once something has been attained, to own it as yours. And that has all been very well and good, for that is the structure in which you in your culture had decided, there was the framework in which you would be working in, and it has served many of you and some others not so well. But what's happening is that structure, which is very much connected with the element of the earth, and the earth itself of a very formed vibration, is moving more into the element of the air. For you are ushering in the Aquarius energy that is much lighter, more air-like. That's why many of you are much more attuned to your breath, and to breath work is very much coming up to the forefront of many of your understanding, is that you're moving with the vibration of the air. And with that also comes a great quickening. And so there will be an enormous quickening occurring in the next several months. And from now until perhaps what you might label in linear time as 2024, you'll continue to move through a great transition in which the letting go, the dissolving, the collapsing of old beliefs, old structures, old paradigms, old ways of perceiving the world, maybe the old order, will begin to collapse. And the new generation of the youth that may have been labeled as they came in as the crystal children or the indigo children are going to begin to now come into their own. And the new babies that are being born with more strands in their DNA, more capacity to hold and carry light, and the capacity to use particular talents and understandings, as the veil for them is so thin as the worlds begin to merge, that they will bring so much more light onto the planet, supporting this shift to occur. This shift that is occurring is not only occurring in your own earth, but in your, not even your own solar system, but it is a universal shift. And the importance of the earth moving into a higher octave of vibration is essential at this time, not only for the collective consciousness of humanity and your beautiful planet as you know it to be, but also for higher and other dimensional realities that cannot be perceived at this time from the eyes of which you use. And so what will be happening is your capacity to move into higher realms, into different dimensions, and to begin to understand the dimensions beyond 3D as the earth begins to evolve and you move through this evolutionary time and space. This quickening will begin to happen. And in the quickening, many of the things in which you have seen as comfortable or familiar may begin to dissolve. And at first, that might seem a bit upsetting or difficult to adjust to, especially for those who have been on Earth for longer periods of time and are used to tradition and the ways that certain things are, this may seem like a difficult transition. But when they begin to surrender to the understanding that the youthful energy of the younger generation that is now going to begin to bring in their energy to be of service, to be of support, has a very different way of perceiving the world and the way of hierarchy, of domination and control from powerful energies that decided collectively what the rules were, are going to begin to fall away. And the new youthful energy is going to begin to surface and to come up into its own. And they see and perceive things very differently. For their need for the material realm is not the same. Their need for being greater or less than another is not the same. Their deeper connection and honoring of the earth is much clearer and stronger, for they see the crying of the planet and the weeping of your mother, and they bring with them an understanding and a connection not only to the creative energies of creativity and music and we are wanting to remind all of you is that this newer energy of this new generation is coming forward. And with them, a new earth will be born. And between now and December 21st, it is extraordinarily important for all of you to place all of your attention and all of your focus on one thing, and that is your frequency and the vibration in which you hold. For the vibration in which you will be holding at that time of year will be essential to where it is that you will find yourself energetically for many years to come. For there is a splitting, in a sense, of what many of you might call a timeline of energies, in which you will choose to embrace the new energy, the new paradigm, based in unity, based in love, based in seeing the web of interconnectedness between all of you, based in an energy that comes from the root or the grass up, where the people rise up and speak their authentic truth to bring harmony, to bring peace, to bring love, to bring equality, to put down their arms, to absolutely push against the energy or the idea of war, to realize that none of you own anything. So how could you possibly war over a piece of land? For none of you own it anyway. For the understanding that every single being that you see and that you look at is divine and is yourself. From a way of seeing the web and the light that interconnects and vibrates off all living things. This is a new earth that is coming and being born right now. And it is already in many respects present. It already just needs an allowing and a willingness to see that it is there. And as you hold your vibration based in love, as you make your choices based in love rather than fear, as you choose to speak your truth in an authentic way as to who it is that you are, as you remember that every single thing in which you are seeking to figure out or to know or to understand already dwells inside of you, when you begin to remember that there is nothing outside of you that can heal you, that all healing resides from within, when your primary and number one energy and focus and attention is based on love in the words that you speak, the actions you take, and the behaviors that you are moving in and around them, you begin to elevate your vibration to a frequency that begins to resonate with the geometric pattern of the new earth that allows you to magnetize yourself like a magnet to it as it begins to form its new collective consciousness. For the earth is already here in this particular form, and the collective consciousness that begins to be attracted to it, to resonate along with it, and to be born with and from it, must also be able to vibrate with its new frequency. For the evolution of the earth itself, it has evolved, and it is that the galactic vibration and energies of the higher realms have also evolved. And it is that humanity that it is in the third dimension resides in between the two worlds, between what you might call heaven and earth, or as above, so below. You are the light vehicle of energy that resides and is the conduit between the worlds. And so, as that energy has evolved and you begin to absorb it through your field and become aware of its vibration, allowing it to move into all of the cells and the tissues and the organs of your being as it radiates light, it begins to attract the new earth that's here, begins to pull like a magnet, begins to attract toward it the consciousness of the beings and the vibrations that are able to hold that frequency so that it begins to have its own new consciousness. Because many of you look right now toward the fact that there are many dire situations on the planet. There is still great poverty. There are many beings that are hungry right now in this moment. There's no need for that. There are others that are warring because they have a different religion, or because they think they own something that was someone else's, or they've taken something away. All of these old paradigms are not coming from the people. They're not coming up from the roots of the larger masses. They're being dominated by hierarchies, and those hierarchies are going to dissolve. Now, in the dissolving and in the collapsing of these structures and this old way of being, there'll be a transitional period, and you're in that. You're in the transitional period right now. And this transitional period may go on for a period of time in linear time. But ultimately, what's going to be happening is that the people, the masses, will recognize in their awakened state that all these things that you were all been taught to do and to behave and to see as truth or as the rules are no longer applying. And so monetary systems or government systems or educational systems or even holidays, you might start to look at your holiday. Why are we eating this food? Why are we celebrating this? What is this really about? You're going to start to question everything. And so the older generation may start to buckle at that or push back a bit because they're used to that. But it is the youth. I am speaking tonight to the young ones, the light beings, the crystal children, the indigo beings that resonate with that new light, know that they're bringing in something new, and they will be the showers, the way showers that will open the doorways and teach their elders to return back to the indigenous ways, to return back to the rhythms of the earth. And that's why we are celebrating the full moon, to the cycles of the moon and the sun and the earth, as the sun rises and the sun sets and the raindrops fall and the ocean waves and the breezes of the trees and the soil and the food and the light. As you begin to go back, walking barefoot upon the land and reconnecting to it and to all of its gifts and bounty that it has for you, you begin to realign and resonate with it. And it will take that realigning with it and also the combination of bringing in information from higher sources, energy that are going to bring forth technological advanced ideas and technology that will quickly enhance and heal and shift the vibration on the planet to bring more equality for many. And so what's happening is you've had a top down system, and now you're going to have a from beneath up system. And so everything's going to turn like this, right? And as it turns like this, and as it's turning, it's like a big ship that's it's going at a fast rate towards something, and all of a sudden it has to turn. Well, when a big ship like that has to turn completely all the way around, it takes a lot of movement, and it can create some chaos. And on board, you might feel like you're falling to one side, right? You might even begin to feel as though you're tipping. And that's how you're feeling right now, because everything is getting shaken up, and it feels like you're tipping because you're turning around what you collectively, culturally decided on as the cultural collective agreements are going to shift, because it is the youth that recognize that if they are to have a prosperous life, not one with the material things of stuff. We're not talking about a closet full of shoes or your Ferrari in the garage. That's all well and good. There's nothing wrong with the material, but it's the excess of the material that has created such a inequality, division, and pain on the planet for so many who are suffering. And so they recognize that. And so their need for that is not the same. And when the need for the material begins to dissolve, then the powers that be that choose to control and dominate in order to drive the ego to have more have nothing to drive them toward, because the youth is not interested. Then the ship turns, because they cannot control and denominate something if the need or the wanting has fallen away, because then there's nothing to control. And so then it has to turn. And then when it turns, the energy is from the grassroots up, from the people up. And then it is based in something new. And when it is based in this new energy, you've created what many of you call the new earth, or the fifth dimension, some of you call it, or the ascended state, right? You're vibrating at a new frequency based in unity, connectedness, love, and harmony, where the idea of war you look back on as so barbaric. Let's hope so. The idea that someone's skin color makes them better or less than another, all of that ridiculousness, all of that. Or that one person lives in a tin hut with mud and is hungry and starving as their village is flooded, and another lives up on a hill in a house so big they cannot even find the other side of it. That inequality and imbalance is dissolving. And as it begins to dissolve, it dissolves with it many structures, many collective agreements, and the collective consciousness that have been put in place along with it. And that causes uncomfortability. And it will have a backlash, and many will push against it because they're very comfortable. That does not mean that you won't remain comfortable. We're not saying that comfort is not all right. Of course it is. Can all be comfortable, but not at the expense of the earth, and not at the expense of your fellow human friends. And so that's what's happening. And so between now and December 21st is an opportunity to put all of your energy and all of your attention toward holding a vibration of love, holding a vibration of unity. As we always say, that the three keys to ascension are love, forgiveness, letting go of resentment, releasing hatred and pain, loving your enemy. Forgiveness is enormous, because forgiveness holds your vibration static. So you need to let that go. And then gratitude for what already is, all the incredible blessings in your life, and amplifying gratitude. If you place your attention for the next 3 weeks on those three keys, continuing to reevaluate your vibration all the time, scanning your field, tuning in, paying attention, and unplugging from the drama, unplugging from the news, unplugging from the media, all of that, all of that noise, unplugging from all of that, and plugging into either music or art or poetry or dancing or walking or nature or breathing, whatever it may be, that begins to rebalance you with the rhythms of your creativity, lighting up the right brain, the right hemisphere, the feminine energy, being with family, cooking, dancing, loving, lighting fires, candlelight, whatever it may be, tuning in, grounding into the earth. So, what's happened is this new earth, in a sense, has been born, and it is going to magnetize to it the vibration of the consciousness that holds its energy. As you hold that higher vibration, you will be, in a sense, pulled into that new reality, because you think of 3D or the reality which you're witnessing as solid or real. And as you notice, many things are being questioned. What is true? What is not true? What is a fact? What is not a fact? All of this questioning is sometimes might seem quite ridiculous, but it is also divinely perfect, and it is collapsing the illusion of the idea of the perception of reality as you have known it is dissolving. And a new sense of rules are being born, a new collective way of thinking is being born, and a new idea of reality is coming into form, depending upon where it is that you are placing your attention and your focus, because the ability to mold or to move, to be make malleable in a sense, vibration and energy to form your human experience, your reality is accelerated so much more. And so you can quickly move in leaps and bounds in your consciousness, in your way of being, and in your reality toward whatever direction you're wanting to move in. It's very much accelerated. And this full moon is also accelerating that. It's so accelerated right now. And that energy is going to even speed up faster. So it's more important now than ever where you're choosing to put your thoughts, where you're choosing to spend your time, where you're choosing what words you're going to speak and what actions you're going to take, where you're going to focus, what you're doing, because it is forming a collective consensus of the truth. So yes, 1 and 1 will still be 2, and there will still be facts of what is true and what is not true. But it is going to be coming from a different source, a different way of being. And so the collective consciousness right now is at a tipping point, not a tipping, a turning point. And you're going through a momentous change even in the next 3 weeks. And so when that portal vibration opens around the solstice time, you want to be vibrating at your highest possible frequency. Now you'll move through that, and then you'll move into the new year. In the beginning of the new year, the energy will still be a bit dense, as it has been up to this point, where many of you are feeling you've had to change things or go inward, or your businesses have shifted, or your relationships have changed, or your family holidays have changed. Things are different. Much of that has been focused on going inward, reevaluating, recognizing what's important. And so that energy is going to change as the spring comes, and there'll be a burst of energy of moving forward as things begin to go astrologically more direct toward the end of the month. And as the energies go direct, there's going to be a lot more movement, and that movement is going to propel you toward holding that vibration, so that you can be part of this group of energies that is pulling the energy and ascending it up like a spiral up the ladder into the heavens of a higher vibration of love. So we just wanted to convey that to you this evening. We want to remind you that you chose to be on earth right now at this moment, in this historical moment in time. And many are leaving the planet right now also, and that's all right, because they're going to be doing their work from the other side. And those worlds are merging more and more than they ever have before. At vibrations that are holding those higher frequencies, like many in the other realms, are invisible to you because they cannot be seen because their vibration is out of your frequency. But as you begin to elevate your vibration, you're going to be able to see more, hear more, connect more with the other realms, with the other dimensions, because your vibrations are going to start to begin to tune in more to one another. So use this time to take all the learning, all the teaching, all the meditating, all the breathing, all the ceremony, all the work that all of you have done for such a long time, and to cultivate it and to use it and to apply it now. And if you haven't figured out yet what your soul purpose is, or you've been off track, this is the moment to unveil, to get on track, to find some clarity, to ground into the earth. And if you don't know what it is, just get outside and sit with Mother Earth and get your hands in her soil and begin to return back to yourself. Feel your heartbeat, feel her heartbeat, feel the galactic heartbeat. Turn off your computer, turn off your phone, turn off your electronics. Go out and look at the moon. Put on the music and dance. Play, get on a swing set and swing at the playground. Bring that joyful, playful energy back out. And bring joy into your homes and into each other and into your lives, and laugh and play games and make soups and light candles and fires and dance and walk in the snow and climb the trees and go to the ocean and put your feet in the sand. Whatever you need to do to feel that youthful, vibrant, young, joyful, playful energy again. Or if you're driven right now with a mission to do something or to help or to create, keep moving, keep doing, keep sharing. That is what you were born to do. So this is a critical moment right now. It is a choice point. And all we are doing from the angelic realm is pouring gamma light down into you as we are turning you into crystalline beings. And all that we ask of you is to choose love over fear. It's all you have to do in every moment, to say, I choose love over fear, because there is nothing to be afraid of. The greatest fear any of you ever have is to not be here, is to die. And that is nothing to fear at all, because it is a magnificent and wonderful experience. And so there's nothing to fear at all. Nothing.
Thank you, Raphael. And as we're in this critical period of time and we're going about raising our vibrations, in the past, in my experience, you've come up with some really fun games just that we can play with each other and throughout our day to raise our vibration. Do you have any fun games that you care to share with us?
Oh, you're very funny. Perhaps you then just become children again. What would you do when you were little? Think of some things that you would do. Perhaps you would just go over to a chair and hang upside down. Perhaps you put magazines on the floor and say, I can only jump on the magazines. I can't touch the floor. Maybe you'd play hide and go seek. What are the things that you do when you're little? Maybe you played pretend.
So any game's fair game.
Yes.
I, I was referring to like when you taught us about the gratitude game of playing the gratitude game like I used to play, you know, like a
Yeah.
high vibration game.
Yes. Well, why don't you tell them about the gratitude game? They can play that. But there are endless things in which you can all do to raise your vibration, and we just want you to know that it's very important not to be down on yourself if you can't do it, or to criticize yourself, or to be when you say something that's perhaps might be labeled as negative or a low vibration. We want you to embrace that and say, I love you and I love myself. So we talked about the idea that perhaps paying more and more attention to your words. There's the gratitude game. Putting the word "I am grateful" in front of everything you say gets to be silly. Playing the game in which you have to remove the word "no," the word "can't," anything that is a negative connotation out of every single sentence, and start to communicate and see what communicating like that is, and how often you bring it there, or how often you might even say, I don't feel well, or I can't do this, or I don't want to do that, or that is hard, or this is hard, or if I did that, this won't happen. All that start beginning to just bring conscious awareness to the words and the verbiage in which you are speaking and that you are saying and that you are thinking. If you could begin to monitor that, and every single time you said something that wasn't perhaps in alignment with that which you were wanting to put your attention on or to create, that then you could say, I love you out loud. Or maybe that's not funny enough. The saying I love you is the highest vibration that you can speak, but perhaps you want to think of something really silly to say. You're good at silly, Casey. What's something funny you could say? And then people will start to wonder, well, why are you always saying chicken duck?
Yeah, macaroni and cheese.
Yes, whatever it is. And so just to be playful and have fun with it. And know that you already know everything, that you're already these divine beings. You've just had fallen into a deep sleep, and that was part of the plan. And now the plan is to wake you up. And as you're waking up, you might be a little groggy and you have to revisit or relearn how to operate from higher frequencies. And so, just like a child learning something new, you can make it fun or playful.
And so, speaking of children, I know a lot of people want to know what is the best way to be of support to these children that are coming onto the planet that are our own when we feel like we're in this time of crisis, even though it's really a turning point. What's the best thing that people can do or remember when it comes to raising their children
Uh,
and
it,
interacting with children in
it
general?
is very, very important to empower them because they are still awake, many of them. And sometimes they're so awake that they're labeled as having something wrong with them. So it is very important to empower them. It is very important to listen to them. It is important to ask them about their world before they came here, to talk to them direct about what their mission is, to talk to them about what their vision of the earth is, what they see their life being like, to talk to them like adults in many respects, and to hold them to allowing that what they have to share and to speak is being honored and not to dismiss it. Many of them are telepathic. Many of them are able to see things that their parents can't see, hear things their parents can't hear, understand things that their parents can't understand. Don't poo poo it. Don't put it aside as invalid. Validate them and empower them because they are the ticket or the key to the evolution and the energy lifting, in a sense, of the vibration of the planet. They're the ones that will see the solutions and hear and know. There is so much support right now coming onto the planet from higher realms and higher dimensions, just as it was all along. But there was a long period of time in which we call the fourth dimensional canopy vibration was so solidified with so much heaviness that that information could not penetrate the toric field into the earth in order to be received. Only many of your great scientists and your great philosophers and inventors were able to receive the information coming through that brought through many technological advancements and so on, or the way that many things were built of many of your sacred sites on the ley lines across the planet in your to finish up what we were saying, and then we shall say goodbye. But it is that as you are asking about the children, they are the ones that will be able to receive more easily the information that is coming from the higher realms that will have solutions for all of you. So listen to them, empower them, honor them, get them outside, disconnect them from technology as much as possible. They already have the information downloaded that they need from technology. They already know how to run it and to utilize it to their benefit, but they need to connect to the core of the earth, deep into the core, because the answers that they are needing in order to heal the earth live in the earth. For the earth, just like the answers that lie within you to heal you, the answers to heal the earth live in the earth. And so the children need to be outside in the trees, in the grass, in the snow, and looking at the sky, playing. The more that they are outside, the more they will hear the core of the earth, the iron core crystal that has a calling to them and a teaching as they turn back here to the minerals and the crystals and the elementals and the divas and the fairies. And do not discourage them when they have imaginary friends, when they can see and hear and feel things, or when they see things as color or shape or talk in ways you do not understand. Listen to them as they are your elders, but also give them structure. They need form and structure and routine in order to be able to balance the vibration of the higher frequencies, to form them into a way that can be practically applied here on earth at this time. And so is there something more before I shall be going?
Yeah, yes, Raphael. I just had one more question, which was related to a question that somebody asked. Um, as we interact with so many people, and the new Earth is coming in, and we're anchoring the new Earth into reality, how do you recommend that we send the most amount of love to people who are stuck in old systems of thinking, whether that be a system of hierarchy, or they're focusing solely on the problem, they're in a vibration of stress, and they're completely absorbed in self and unwilling to see the wholeness of everything that is? Is there a particular technique
Well,
way
it
that's
is
working with that?
twofold. For if you are holding a vibration enough within yourself, you are going to be able to embrace them and to accept them and to love them where they are, and to bring them into your fold. The greatest gift that you can give another is to unconditionally accept where they are on their journey and in their process without judgment. Now, that being said, it is not always that easy. For one, it can be triggered emotionally and have a difficulty time holding such a vibration. And so there will be places and times in which you will have to create boundaries if you are not solidified in your vibration yourself and they throw you off access or off your access in which you are wobbling. Then you will have to create a boundary around yourself and them so that you can continue to work on getting your vibration to a place in which you feel so stabilized and clear that you are able to bring them into your fold and embrace them and accept them where they are. It is important to know that sometimes other people's journey that is bringing them, and they've come to be on earth right now just as you have at this particular moment. They chose to be there, and they may be going down a route or getting there in a way that might seem off balance or might seem like quite a long detour.
but there is a purpose and a divinity in that plan, because that is bringing them exactly there in the way that they need to go. And so, if you can see it from that perspective and know that the way they're getting to their destination is not the way that you're choosing to travel on your destination, but that you can honor that that is their choice and embrace and love them on their way. But sometimes you may need to get in different vehicles to get to the same place, and they may have to take a longer route and catch up to you later. And you can go on your own drive, on your own route, and wait for them as they come closer.
Thank you, Raphael. And I think something important that you're saying there is that we can go on our own route, and it's important to not feel like we have to bring everybody with us.
Yes, you are not needing to save anyone, because we want to remind you that they actually are you. And so, as you elevate your own vibration and focus on that, that part of that automatically stimulates and shifts their vibration and the collective. And so, if you're worried about bringing them along, worry about bringing yourself along, and know that in doing that in itself, it supports them also on their journey. And that from the much larger perspective, when you begin to zoom out, in a sense, they are just a mirrored fragment reflection of you. And if they are in your human experience, in your orbit of relationships, and that you encounter and connect with regularly, they are there to teach you something. They are a mirror of you, a part of you, to be accepted, to be embraced, to be honored, to be seen, and to be loved. And so, with that, I must be going. And I want you to know that I love you and that I see you, that you are magnificent and that you are beautiful, that you are divine, and that your planet is ascending to a great and magnificent place, and it is on a beautiful trajectory going right where it needs to go in the perfect and exact timing. And that sometimes it might not seem that way from your perspective, but we want you to know that all is well. And that means that you can continue to do your work, continue to hold love, continue to take action, continue to be in harmony with yourself and the earth. But at the same time, know that all is divinely perfect. Many blessings and good day. I just, I'm glad I was able to bring in Raphael today. It was a little bit of an intense call. I'm sorry for the technical difficulties. I hope everybody is enjoying the full moon. And we had a wonderful course last month, Surfing the Tsunami. Any of you who haven't been on it or didn't get to take it, I highly recommend it. We've got the replays now. It's really get your vibration up. And I'll see everybody, I guess, next Sunday for a Q&A with Raphael. We're going to do it every Sunday at 2 o'clock, and to support all of you to keep our vibration up during this tremendous shift, it seems, that we're all moving toward. So if anybody has any quick questions that they want to ask me, I can stay on for a few moments.
Oh, can I speak about the gratitude game? Sure. So my mom, when we were young, it was like instead of the quiet game, we'd play the gratitude game where essentially you couldn't say anything unless you said, I'm grateful for first. And so even if something kind of like was bad, it's like, Oh, I'm grateful that I spilled ketchup all over my shirt because now I get to put it through the wash. And that's where it started to get funny because, like, you could honestly be grateful for anything. And so if whoever lost, whoever broke first is the loser.
Yeah,
And you
no,
see how
I forgot about that. We would play it all the time. So yeah, you would spill something like, oh my God, I'm so grateful I spilled my water because I'm so grateful that I have a discount.
getting another one.
Exactly, whatever it was. And it gets to be a lot of fun. It's a great thing to do with kids or just yourself. I mean, really puts things quickly back into perspective.
Yeah, it's a good one to raise your vibration really quick. And another one that I like that's really fun are the so happies. I know a lot of you know the so happies.
Oh, why don't we do it right now?
Well, yeah, we can do it right now. So the so happies go like this. I say, how happy are you? And you go, so happy. So just do it. Ready? How happy are you?
Everybody unmute themselves.
Happy. Let me see those arms. Let's do it. I'm
So
watching.
happy! Woo!
So happy!
Hooray!
Hooray!
You have to put your arms up.
happy!
So happy
So
are you?
happy!
So happy are you? So
So happy!
Do a magic train, right?
Oh, that's awesome.
And from there, you can always just like do 12 of those in the morning. Like
You
I put
got to
it-
mute everybody, Case.
Oh, like instead of doing 12 push-ups, you can do 12 so happies in the morning. But then the way to make it a game that I started playing with people is that you get a group of people to agree with you, right? And so no matter where you are, if you ask them how happy they are, even if you're in the grocery store, you're walking down the street, whatever it is, they have to go, so happy. And you can get them, to do it in a lot of funny situations. And it makes everybody so happy because the thing is like you do this and you're afraid to disrupt people's life. Unless they're on an important phone call, they're going to think it's going to make them happy. So yeah, that's the so happy game. Mom, you're muted if you're saying things.
I don't know if it's Raphael's, and I didn't even touch the button. Like, I don't know what's going on.
I muted you. I muted everyone.
Okay. Oh gosh. Okay. All right. Anybody else have any questions? But the so happy is a great one. We do it in the morning, or I used to do it every morning with Casey on Magical Mornings, and I've gotten off track. I got to get back onto it.
Yeah, we're going to be starting Magical Mornings up again next week. I think I'm going to be able to have it all up and going. I'll send an email out for people.
Yeah, Magical Mornings gets everybody in a great vibe. All right. Well, I think we'll call it a night unless anybody else has another question or wants to say hello.
Could I ask a quick question?
Sure.
Okay. And it's about like unplugging and going into nature and walks but I like to expand my consciousness with like some issues going on and just like expanding, like I'm in a book club about racial issues, but I find it healing. But I'm just wondering what you would say about that.
Oh, I'd say if you're enjoying it, go for it. There's no rules. So
To
yeah,
expand
absolutely.
consciousness, even though it's an intellectual thing.
Sure.
Okay,
Absolutely.
thank you. All right.
As long as it's not bringing you into stress,
Okay.
into as long as it's not making you have anxiety and like so sad. If it's like, oh wow, this is so healing. Oh wow, I'm creating so much awareness. Oh wow, so much about this issue. That's expanding your consciousness.
Okay, thank you. I get it. Thank you. Thank you.
All right, everybody. Well, I'm so glad to see you guys. I will see you next Sunday at 2 o'clock. Have a fabulous week. And I will give a winner away for Spirals of Destiny on Sunday as well. So anybody who sent in testimonials will be in the spinning wheel to get that. And if you haven't taken Surfing Tsunami, you may want to do that. And I guess that's all we have to say for tonight. So have a great evening.